Hey guys, gonna make another video today. I finally got some time off work, and I figured I would use that time to show you guys how to make G10 scales for the Swiss Army knife, 58mm model, the size of the classic. You can do this with any size, really. I mean, it's just this is the example I'm gonna use. This one is a little bit bigger than the classics. Yeah, as you can see, this one being the classic. Yeah, these are just my examples I have so far. This is my first attempt at any of this, which was the Mini Champ, the original version. I think this one came out nice. Still want to kind of finish the scales a little bit better. I want to polish them. These ones use Peel-ply G10. This one's the Executive. This one is the Classic. And I added lanyards to this one and the Mini Champ that kind of matched it. I thought those were kind of cool. And we're also going to add a lanyard to the one that we make today. Yes, this is the coarse texture Peel-ply orange G10, which is kind of cool. Because obviously I can't do that texturing on my own. Maybe someday I'll get some thicker G10 and do the Anso pattern, or Anso, however you pronounce it. Yeah, so those are just some examples of it. Anyway, this model is the Rover, not the Rambler. It has the cap lifter, screwdriver, wire splitter, stripper, the emergency blade, not the regular pen blade, but this one is the Warncliffe. It's a little bit shorter, yeah, just completely straight edge, really easy to sharpen, by the way, and the nail tool. So yeah, you can also use this as a screwdriver, I'd imagine, and it is tapered at the end for a little bit of prying, or also for the screwdriver use. I'm going to take this little key ring off and use the one that I put on here just to kind of match the overall look of the knife, which is the blacked out look with the bronze or brass bullet bead, which is, let's see if this will show. Focus. Yeah, which this is the 40 S&W round. Found these bullet beads at, well, I made the bullet beads. I found the bullet casings, or the shells, at the local shooting range that we have here. Yeah, so this is just going to be the introduction of kind of what you need to start making them. I'm going to break this down into a couple videos, just so you guys don't have to sit through like a long video, and I can kind of edit it together, or edit the parts out that I need and don't need. Yeah. Anyway, so to get started, oh, one last thing. This is just what I do. Oh, first of all, yeah, this is just what I do. This by no means is the best way to do it. This is not the most professional means to do it. This is just, it works for me. As you can see, I get, well, I like to think I do a decent job on these, so the method works for me. Yeah, what I do is I'll use this as the sort of finishing Sat Classic, because this one's just a beater one. I've had this one, excuse me, I've had this one for a while. It was when I was little. It's all beat up because obviously I didn't take care of it very well. If you look close, you might be able to see that the blade is chipped in several areas. Yeah, it's just not a, yeah, I don't know how to put it. It's a beater. It's one that I just use for this. The scales are so loose on it that I can just pop them off, and I can test out my scales on here, which is nice for fitting them without damaging, or potentially damaging this one, because this one is pretty good condition. So yeah, I'd like to keep it like that. Anyway, what we're going to do is start off in this video. This is really basic. It's not going to be a long video, hopefully. Trace the, this is also another spare scale that I had. Trace this onto the G10, and in the next video I'll cut it and drill the little pilot holes to kind of clear the pins, which also I'll just show here. Sorry, it's tough to do behind a tripod. Yeah, you have to make something to clear these 4 pins, and it really helps to kind of clamp this together after you do it. And yeah, it really helps to have these holes pre-drilled. So you kind of have to sacrifice the scale, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is. This is coarse, or medium textured G10 I got from USA Knife Maker. I have a couple more slabs of this. Hopefully one day probably, hopefully within the next month, I'm going to try to make my own knife, and so I'll be able to do some handling. I'll probably use orange G10 on it. Maybe I'll do some blue, who knows, maybe I'll stick with black. The black one doesn't get nearly as dirty as blue or orange. Yeah. Anyway, so this isn't the way that it's going to look. I'm going to have to put some oil on it to kind of give it a darker black color and remove these little white lines on the side. Anyway, so this side is smooth. This is the one that we're going to do all of our marking on. So we're just going to use this here Sharpie, and let's see, just mark out the outline of one scale. Now this is just to give us sort of the rough dimensions of it when we're using a hacksaw to cut the scales free. So, I mean, obviously your outline's going to be a little bit bigger. I try to stay between the two lines that are created in this. Obviously it's much easier to see on like different colored G10. I really wish I had a better marker for this, but anyway, so what I'm going to do in the next video is hacksaw through this and kind of get the rough shape of the scales and then drill the holes. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, second part of this video series. This part we're going to be taking the G10 scale, or the slab, cutting it about here and down the middle to separate the two templates. For this part, the tools that I'm going to be using are a hacksaw, a power drill. Oh yeah, we're also going to be drilling the holes to clear the brass pins on the Swiss Army knife. So you're going to need a drill. I use this one. It's one that I've had for a while. A drill bit. Actually, quickly, I'll get you the size. I use a 9/64 is what it says, which is just shy of 1/8. So I believe, let's see, yeah, 1/8. So I mean, yeah, 1/8 will work just fine. What I did a while back was I drilled holes through this where the pins are, or the where the recessed areas in the factory scales are. So I know the exact position, and all I did was I took a drill bit, and you just make sure that it can fit through it, and this one does just fine. So those, let's see, a clamp to clamp it down when I'm drilling it, a vise, and some paper towels. And as far as safety precautions, I just use a little dust mask just to prevent inhaling any G10 dust, which is pretty nasty. I don't have the windows open in here, but I think it'll be fine. You know, I have this on the whole time. I will take it off if I need to say anything or whatnot. But yeah, so this is just going to be cutting the scales. Yeah. So the mask goes on. What I like to use is some paper towels just to pad the other side of the vise so I don't mar up any of the texturing on the G10. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start. Alright, so we're through the first part of it. Yeah, so I'm going to shift this out. I'm actually going to cut the video just because that's unnecessarily loud, and it's kind of boring just watching me cut some G10. Anyway, so this is what we have so far. It's fairly easy to cut through. As you can see, there's just enough to, sorry that was off frame, there's just enough if I mess up, I can probably fit another scale on there. One thing that I've been more conscious of as I do these is to make sure when I'm drilling, do the side without the texturing. As simple as that sounds, it's, sometimes you get caught up in your work and you just forget. So yeah, also sometimes you drill too deep and it goes through, so I gotta keep conscious of that. Anyway, I'll cut the video now and I'll come back when I've cut these out and I'm ready to drill the holes. Alright, thanks. Alright, so the scales have been trimmed down. Obviously this is only one, the other one is right here, ready for drilling. I'll show that up close in just a second, but as you can see, the scale has been trimmed down to a more workable size, and now there's only just one on the piece of G10 I'll be working with. Yeah, as you can see, the other side is the textured side, and this is the side with the little drawn-on areas. Right now, I'm going to be drilling the pilot holes, or probably not pilot holes, the clearing holes for the standoffs, and then we're going to test fit them on this. And that'll be the video for this. I'll just show this right now. This is the setup I have. I've got it clamped down, ready to be drilled, and yeah, this thing is sturdy, not going anywhere. Alright, set this tripod back up. Now hopefully you guys will be able to see everything I'm doing, or at least get the idea of it, because I don't have one of those cameras with a back-turning LCD. This is just a point and shoot with a decent video recording anyway. So I'm going to go do this now, and I'll show you guys what I do and how it comes out. Obviously rolled up my sleeves for this. Yeah, trying to be as safe as possible for my safety and for your concern, because I know some people just kind of feel the need to point out what we do wrong. But I mean, it's not like I'm going to drill into your hand or anything. Anyway. So I just go a little bit at a time. Anyway, now that we have the holes kind of drilled, the guiding holes, there's really no need for this anymore. They'll be drilling straight down no matter what I do. So we're just going to check to see those right now. Just make sure they're lined up. These are not deep enough. I just want to check the alignment. Yeah, so we're going to do that now. Alright, let's see here. It looks like everything's aligned, it just needs to be a little bit deeper, so I'm going to go do this now, and I'll do another test fit in just a second. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to see which ones need more drilling. Obviously, some don't. See, this one needs more drilling. Oh, sorry, you can't see that, guys. My bad. That one, actually, you know what? Hang on. May as well test it, huh? And I'll hold this up to myself first. Alright. Let's see, everything seems to be aligned. Alright, awesome. Well, I just gotta drill these a little bit deeper, so I'm just gonna do that and then I'm gonna cut the video, finish the part up before I move on to the next one. Obviously, I wish I had a drill press, but that's just not the case. So, gotta do this all with hand tools. Alright, sweet. Looks like, I don't know if you guys can see that. Looks like there's just one last bit that needs to be drilled. So, get it, bit that needs to be drilled. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Well, looks about, I'm gonna drill it just a tiny bit more. Don't think that should be an issue. Alright, that hopefully will do it. Yep, there we go. Alright, as you can see, this is laying flush now. So now it's just a matter of shaping this. So that'll be what the next video, oh sorry. That'll be what the next video is on. Sorry, I forgot to take my dust mask off. Yeah, so awesome. Doesn't look like I drilled too shallow. You can't see any light marks on it where the pins would be, so that's a good sign. Did that just right. Alright, so let's see. Oh, one last thing. Some people wear gloves, fiberglass, this is epoxy and fiberglass. It doesn't bug my skin, so it's not an issue for me. Although if it is a health concern, I'm sure I'll find out. Someone will point it out, and maybe I'll switch over. So, yeah. Alright, so as of now, this is what we got. And, yeah, we'll check that out, see how that comes along. Next video, I'm going to be filing around this, kind of get the rough shape before I do the actual contouring of the handles. And the last video will be epoxying and showing off the final product. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright you guys, I finished up the drilling of each clearance hole on the G10. They all clear the pins just fine, they sit flush. So what's next is to actually shape them into the shape of a handle scale, just like this. Yep. I'm going to be using this one just because, this is already beaten up so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the holes. Actually, I'll show you how I do that because I put it away already, but I do make sure they're lined up after you kind of remove them from each other. Which is to say that these aren't clamped together anymore. What I do is I stick the bottom of this through and I line it up like that. And then, you can kind of hold it in place pretty tight there. And you get a nice little fit like that. Now of course, this is just going to be sort of the first step of doing all the filing. When it gets closer to the actual, I got to get the tolerances pretty good and the fit and finish good, I'm actually going to clamp or put it in the vise like that, and then open up all the tools so I can get around it, just so that the fit and finish is accurate with the pin lineup. Yeah, so this is honestly probably going to be the shorter one of the videos. It's actually the most boring part, which is to say I'm just going to be sitting here like this doing filing. Now this is the only tool I'm going to be using for this aside from the vise to hold it in place. This is a 4 segment file, I guess you could say. It's got different coarseness of its actual file. I tend to use the flat side with this little cross pattern, and then if I really need to remove a lot at once, I use this almost, kind of reminds me of a cheese grater actually. Yeah, something like that. Very rarely will I use this side just because it's contoured and that might create some problems. I haven't ever done that, but who knows, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, so like with before, we're just going to start with this one, no particular reason. So I'm going to line these up. This time, instead of putting paper towel behind this, I'm just going to put the scale, just so it's easier to work with, and kind of prevents the other side from getting all scratched up. Now let's see, is this lined up? Yep, alright, so sweet, that's lined up. Sorry, I just hit the tripod there, I believe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clamp that in nice and tight. So the texturing is all set. Yeah, so that's good. One last thing is I'm glad that on the first try I made sure that I didn't drill into the textured side, so I still have this all left so I can make maybe 2 out of this. I don't know. It's, you know what? I'm going to pop the other scale off that beater sack. That sounds kind of funny. Just to measure that. Oh yeah, I could totally make another set of scales using this, so that's great. So, who knows, maybe I'll make another set of scales, put them on a sack, maybe give them away. I don't know, depends. Maybe that'll be my first giveaway, is custom scales. That'd be kind of cool. Unique little gift. Alright, I'm only going to show the first little bit of this, just to show you how quickly it can go by, but also the key to this step is patience. Each rounding and kind of shaping usually takes me about 30 minutes. I'm not going to show all that, of course. I'll probably just show a couple minutes, maybe 1 or 2. Kind of bring you guys in to show what I've done so far. You guys will get the main idea. But yeah, the biggest thing I can recommend is patience. I don't have a grinder. I can't shape this on that just like that. This works really well. If you have the patience, you can get a really nice and really good finish because you're doing each little bit, just a little bit at a time. And you can keep checking yourself along the way to make sure you're only taking off the parts that need to be taken off. I highly recommend this for your first time. I know you might want to get it done quick, but trust me on this. This will be the best way. Alright, so I'm just going to put my dust mask on and start going to town. Alright, commence the filing. This might be loud. You might want to turn your speaker down. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of annoying, that noise. Anyway, I'm just going to use the more coarse side to try to take off more. There we go. Alright, quickly I'm going to show you this. Just a little, here, let's see if I can zoom in on this real quick. Yeah, as you can see, it's starting to get close. I mean, this was like out to here. So maybe I'll just do a quick one like this. As you can see, I'm trying to maintain a slightly rounded edge here. That's just because that makes it easier. You don't have to do an actual rounding of an edge. As you get kind of tighter in your working area on the G10. So this just kind of helps. Alright, I'm going to cut out now, just because this is going to take a little while. You guys probably don't want to see it. I'll show you when I get this one all done, and then you guys will see this one in the next video. Alright, so see you guys in the next part. Alright guys, a little bit further along right now. I'm going to show you where I'm at. Right now I'm starting to get to the curves. I'm going to follow that down, and then round out that end as well. And then I'm going to put it back on this here, Sack Classic, and then shape it a little bit more. One last thing I'll show you before I get back to work is sort of the difference between putting oil on G10 and not as far as coloring goes. I just decided I was kind of bored. I put it on my little scrap piece. Anyway, this is the original. This is what it comes like. You know, it's kind of whitish. You got that. As compared to, this is the textured side now. Here's the differences. They're more noticeable in person. And then the back is pretty noticeable, at least on camera, I think. Definitely in person. You can see the difference. So, I mean, this black stuff took the oil really well. So I'm hoping this comes out looking pretty nice. Alright, I'm going to get back to work now, and I'll show it to you guys as I'm shaping it on the actual knife. Thanks. Alright guys, this is the where I'm at right now. I mean, this is close enough for me to start working on the actual handles on the knife. As far as the finishes of the crappy set classic that I use. Actually, here, let me zoom out. Now that I've taken this off, I can bring it closer to the tripod. Alright, so as you can see, it's kind of close in its dimensions, close enough for me to start working on it. I did get a little bit too close on some parts, like that right there. That might not come out too great, but that's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. I can live with that. It'll look fine. I mean, if that's all that I had to, if that's all that went wrong, that's fine. Yeah, I kind of left a little bit more on there just because I got kind of impatient towards the end of it. Also right there I got a little bit close, but that's alright. That looks like it'll just make it. Alright, so what I do is yeah, sand this down and then I kind of vacuum it out. I have a shop vac next to me. It's always good to keep your space clean when you're working because it's easier to deal with and easier to, you know, not make mistakes. Anyway, so I'll usually vacuum out the inside of that as I'm working, and then, you know, just check it as I go, kind of rotate it on spots that are easier to work from, because this is not secured on. Also, little note in case you didn't know, once these G10 scales are on, they are epoxied on. You cannot get them off without some serious prying, and it won't be salvageable after that. So, alright, so I'm just going to show that at the very end of this video. It'll be real quick. I know this is a bit longer of a video, so thanks for sticking to the end, and see you in a second. Hey guys, one last video, sorry. Before I show the final product, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a technique on shaping the rounded edge. What I do is I slowly just kind of go like that and it slowly starts to create a little curve, as you can see right there. I'll zoom in on that. Yeah, that's just a freehand curve, so you even get it even better as you get closer, because you can kind of eye where it needs to be, where the curve starts, how dramatic of it is. Anyway, that came out a little jumbled, but point is, yeah, just slowly keep kind of back and forth, kind of shape it like that. So that's just a little tip. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up. I'm almost done with this scale. Thanks. Alright guys, this part is done. Yeah, so this is the final look of the raw shaping. I think it came out alright. It's a little bit angular, like a little bit of rough edges. They kind of abrupt angle changes. If you look up close, you can see it. Got to polish the sides a little bit and round the tops, and get the take some sandpaper to it to get it just right up to the metal, so it has a nice fit look. As you can see, fits on pretty nice. These are thicker than the actual scale, so you will add some width or some bulk to your knife. I think this came out right, like pretty good. Yeah, see, that part will come out during the sanding. Any little bits that kind of pop up will come out during the sanding. One thing that is good to do when you're doing this is to make sure that you're not sanding at this kind of an angle, because you will knock off too much of the, I mean obviously this is dramatic, but you don't want to sand kind of like this or too much like that when you're doing the initial shaping, because it might look good from the top, but the actual alignment is off. I mean, from the underside, I think I did that a little bit too much on one of the edges, but it'll be alright. It'll come out fine, I think. It won't be that noticeable unless you really look at it up close. So yeah, that's that for this video. Next video will be the actual contouring and adding some oil to the scales. So yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. Alright guys, I'm back with another part. This time is going to be the contouring of the scales. As you can see, I went and did the other one. They're roughly the same size. They just need to be kind of sanded down into their little final fit and finishes. So, the way I do this is I usually put them together like this. You know, sandwich them together, the coarse sides out, because that's where the you want the rounding to be. And then I clamp them in the vise using the beat up scales. Sorry, that was a dead air there for a second. Anyway, so I'll have it like this, and then from here, what I do is I do sort of a shoe polish motion with some sandpaper, and it kind of rounds the edges off. And I'll show you guys just a couple seconds of that, maybe a minute or so, show you guys what it leads to, and then finish it up so you guys don't have to watch me do this whole thing, because you know, sometimes I can take a while doing this, just trying to get it right. So there we go. Put this in the vise like that, make sure it's in tight, and then I'm going to start off with some 220 grit, just to get the, actually no, I'm going to use a longer piece, just so I can you know, get it rounded a little bit quicker. So I apologize if this is a little loud. Remember, wear your masks or whatever respirators you use. So here we go. Let's see. You know what, actually, this is pretty much the amount of contouring that I really want. Is you can see it towards, if that'll focus, you can see it towards here that it's contoured, it's no longer a sharp edge. So I'm going to try to get that all the way around, and then I'll show you guys how to do the top part when I'm all done, and then I'll show you the final product before I put it permanently onto the Victorinox rover. So I'll see you guys in a second. I'm just going to finish this up real quick. Alright guys, I'm on to the rounding of this part, so I'm just going to show you this real quick. Also switched over to some paper towels. I just figured it's actually kind of easier than using these scales right now. By the way, this is not the best way to do it. This is the way I do it. If someone has any other ways that they could point out, I'd certainly love to hear them, because this isn't the best way, but it works. Anyway, you do the same shoe pattern, or shoe polishing motion, just on top. Just to get the rough edges off. And then what I do is I kind of angle it a little bit and follow that outside edge. I don't go too crazy, bringing the contouring pretty far back. I just kind of leave it to a basic chamfering, I guess is the word for it. I know some people like really rounded ones. I like this because it leaves a lot more of the actual texturing, which obviously be careful, don't sand the face of this, because that's where the texturing is. You'll get rid of it. But let's see, right there, all that I just did kind of brought us to that, which, you know, it's pretty good for what it just was. Obviously I'm going to work on that a little bit more and clean up the edges, make this more smooth black. Yeah, so I'll show you guys that when I get there. Alright guys, I'm going to show you what I have to work with right now. This is sort of the finish of it right now. You can see it reflecting in the light there. I did the other side, so this is what that looks like right now. Let me dry that off real quick. I was doing some wet sanding. You don't have to do the wet sanding, which is just making sure whatever you're sanding is wet, I think. But I found it just kind of helps. Anyway, this is what that side looks like. Near finished. So I think that's looking alright. So I'm just going to do that to each side, and then I'll show you guys how I epoxy these together. So yeah, see you then. Alright guys, so I'm ready to do the epoxying. I've just got some basic 5-minute epoxy. I got the two little dabs there ready to be mixed. But first I just want to show you, these are the finished scales. They look pretty nice to me. I think I did an alright job on the sides. It's not my best attempt at it. I mean, I was trying to make a video. Clearly I'm just trying to get through this pretty quick. Anyway, so I don't really feel like putting in the time to make slots for these little toothpick and tweezers, but I always like to keep those as a spare. And what I do is I'm just going to pop the little tabs off these, or not the tabs, the scales. Come off pretty quick. And yeah, so there you go. Now it's, yeah, there's the rover without the scales. I'm just going to make a quick little check on how these fit. Oh, these fit pretty nice. That looks pretty good to me. Pretty cool. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that up, put it on each side really quick. Actually, I'm going to take the split ring off, just because that's going to get in the way when I'm trying to do this. And plus I'm just going to replace it anyway with that lanyard. So what I like to use, I just stir it up with a scrap nail that we have, and then I always keep nail polish remover around, because that you don't want it getting on the blade or anything, or really inside these little screws here, or sorry, not the screws, the little back springs, because that would be very bad. Yeah, you want to keep your tools as, you know, epoxy joint free as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to get the mainly up here, maybe do a little bit on the sides, and then wipe off any excess with the nail polish remover, because that does a really good job at breaking it down and cleaning it off, as opposed to just water or a paper towel. Alright, so you know, normally if you're doing this to one you use often, you want to clean the frame of these, or the steel the steel body. But mine, I mean, I've never really used it. This is just going to be for a kind of to have display piece, I guess. It doesn't really need that much cleaning, so I'm not going to do that. Plus, it'll stick fine. This stuff is good. Yeah, so we're just going to do this now. This is a this is a one-shot thing. You know, if I mess this up, there's no going back. So you guys are going to watch it on video with me. So here we go. We're going to mix. And you know, this is 5-minute epoxy. The time frame is kind of tight doing this stuff. So here we go. All right, so I'm just going to dab on a little bit there. Dab on some there. Spread it around. Oh geez, let's see. Yeah, I think this will do good. Being careful not to get any into that spring. I mean, if you get a little bit, it's not the end of the world, but obviously you want to try to keep it as epoxy free as you can. Alright, so this is going on, and now what I do is I open up all the tools so I can get into the sides really quick, squeeze it down tight, and clean off any epoxy before it gets a chance to harden. So, as you'll see over here, I'm going to squeeze this a little bit. Yeah, you can see the epoxy kind of shining there. What you want to do is you just want to take your nail polish remover and go ahead and wipe it. Again, you want to use some respiration for this. I have a window open actually at the moment, so I think I'm good. This stuff isn't too toxic, but you honestly don't even want to take that risk. So, all right, I'm just going to dry that off with another paper towel and then take another look at it just to make sure that we got all the stuff. And I'm going to kind of open and close the blades just so they kind of disrupt any setting epoxy. All right, cool. Seems like it's doing all right. Awesome. I'm just gonna wipe down a little bit more of this. Get the tops. Sorry, that was off camera. yeah, you just want to get the tops of this, and then the sides here, and just going to close that again, get it there. Yeah, so that's really all there is to it. Oh, I actually put this down in the, that's a bummer. Not a big deal though. Alright, so here we go, we're going to try it with the other sides now. Okay. Mix this up again, get some on the nail. Can you get it so it's not going to make a giant glob? That's what you want to avoid, because when you do that, it spreads out and you really don't know where it's going. So try to get a thin layer, but not too thin where it won't actually be good enough. Sorry, that's off camera. Yeah, so, and I mean, you might want to practice this first with, like, I don't know what you actually would practice this with, so never mind. It's one of those things you just gotta commit to. Alright, that looks good enough to me, so we're gonna toss this on here now. Sweet, and then squeeze it down just like before. Wipe off any excess epoxy. Just, yeah, make sure you go around all the edges, all the seams where all the metal meets G10. You can go around like this, and open up the tools. Clean the base of them, because really the base is what like right there. That's where you're gonna find epoxy, because that's where it likes to sneak in. It's very tricky stuff. Oops, put the camera there. Should try to not do that. Yeah, as you can see, this has some epoxy on it, so we're gonna clean that up and keep opening and closing it until all the epoxy comes off of that little spot. And then again, I'm going to dry this real quick, just to get all the nail polish remover off so I can see if there's any epoxy still leaking out the sides, which there is. So, but yeah, the little slip joint areas, the back springs, the tools, they don't seem like they're gunked up at all. I mean, it's pretty easy to open this thing still. So yeah. Now this stuff, it says 5 minutes, but that just means 5 minutes until it reaches about 75, I think it is, % of its strength and hardening. So obviously you're going to want to leave this overnight if you wanted an absolute hardness. Honestly though, what I tend to do is I mean, it's not like you're going to do anything crazy with these, so they're fine if you just want to kind of hold on to them tight for a little bit, and then you know, just make sure you're not prying at them, doing anything ridiculous. So just let it set on its own over the course of the next day before you carry it in the pocket, at least, because who knows, maybe some epoxy will seep out and it'll stick to some stuff in your pockets that you don't want on there. Then you got to remove it, and that's a hassle. So yeah. Now I don't know if nail polish remover is great for your blades. I wouldn't imagine it is. So obviously, you know, you want to wipe this down pretty good afterwards. Make sure you get all that off. Get the blades nice and dry. So I'm going to do one last quick drying, and then just show this thing off real quick before I cut the video, and then I'll come back when it's all done hardening to where I want it hardened. Then I'll put the lanyard on it and show you guys the final product up close. So here we go. This looks pretty nice so far. Yeah, there's a couple more bits of epoxy I want to get off, but you know, for the most part, it's pretty clean. I think it's good. Anyway, thanks. So see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, this is the final product, the finished product, sorry. Yeah, as you can see, there's a little bit of that's just oil residue. I just put some WD-40 on this to bring out the color. I'm really happy with how this came out, actually. I think this came out pretty nice. I think the black looks nice on it. And yeah, I'm just going to add this lanyard to it. Actually, I don't know how well I'm going to like the, maybe I'll switch it to a black split ring just to match the silver lining on that. Silver lining. Obviously the steel liners, but let's get that nice color. Anyway, if I can... this split ring, I remember why I hated it. It just caught on every single piece of fabric that it gets near. such jagged edges on it. There we go. That'll be fine. Here we go. And it's on. So I think that doesn't look too half bad. Yeah, I think I might switch it to the steel ring just to match the overall black and silver thing. I wish I'd still had it like a bead like that one to kind of match the the whole black and white-ish thing going on there. But I think that looks nice. The lanyard definitely helps when these are in your pocket to pull it out. That's why I have it on these two, because I carry these, and I intend to carry this. I mean, it's a functional tool, like, absolutely. I mean, instead of scissors, it's obviously got the cap lifter, but I mean, I don't use scissors too often, so yeah. I really like how this came out. I really would love to see if you guys do anything like this. I'd love to see how yours come out, because it's a really rewarding feeling making your own scales for something. And I mean, I spent some time on this today. I spent a couple hours working on it, and I think it came out nice, so I'm proud of it. And it's a unique tool layering. You don't see the Rover too often. I think it's been discontinued, actually. And so I think it looks nice. It's my knife. It was since I bought it, but you know, I put my own touch onto it. Like I said earlier in the series, maybe one day I'll do a giveaway in which I make some scales for someone, or maybe I'll give away one of the ones I've already done. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think about that. Would you rather have custom scales done for you? Obviously, it'd be something like this. I can never do, like, I mean, I'd never be able to do something like this. So it'd have to be something like a Swiss Army knife, or a Victorinox model, a Wenger model, maybe. I don't have any experience with those, but if you guys would like, I could try to do that. Or if you'd rather me just give away one of these, that'd be cool. I'm not gonna give this one away. This one is just, this is my first one I made. It's got sweet tools on it. Yeah. Also, I don't know if I want to do this, but maybe I'll get into selling this kind of size. I wouldn't attach them for you. I'd just send you guys the raw scale that you would have to epoxy. I'd make sure that the fit and finish was as good as I could get it. Obviously it wouldn't be perfect. I mean, as you see, as much as I tried to be careful on this, there are a little bit of some parts that stick out. It's not perfect, but I mean, I think it came out nice. It's you know, it's more than most people can do, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the series of this. Maybe I'll put this all into one video someday so you guys can watch it all the way through. That would take forever to upload, but who knows? Maybe some people don't feel like switching the page. Just want it to load as one video. I could do that. You know, I think I'm going to do that. I'll just upload it in its entirety as one video after all this, because I mean, I've already uploaded like 2 or 3 parts to it by the time that I'm filming this. I actually I did the first part, let it upload, and while it was uploading, I went and I filmed the next one, and kind of did that as I went through these. The last 2 I filmed right after each other, just because I was too lazy. Yeah. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it.